Mech fishing. Fathomless Gears is a TTRPG about fishing monstrosities in the oceans of the fictional world of Halcyon. In Fathomless Gears, you will be playing a fisher, an individual piloting a bipedal mecha called a gear, taking it to the bottom of the ocean to hunt for fish-like abominations. Being a game about designing and piloting a mecha, character customization is key. Your gear will develop alongside your character, leveling up and becoming stronger and stronger the more work you put into it. Customizing your gear is both simple and rewarding. And while all gears are based on specific chassis, as you level up, you will unlock hardpoints on their grids, becoming able to install larger and larger internals, really making your gear your own. The core gameplay loop is pretty simple. You will go on fishing trips to catch fish, which can then later be sold during shore leave. You will simultaneously level up your character and upgrade your gear with each fishing trip you complete. These upgrades are very important, as the oceans of Halcyon are teeming with the most foul and dangerous life forms that the planet has to offer. From the mostly harmless hog-nosed hornfish to much worse things, the eldritch abominations that make the darkest depths their own. Don't worry though, you'll learn to hunt those too. Together with your gear and a group accompanying you beneath the waves, you'll probably make it out alive, and maybe even reach retirement. In this video, I would like to go over the basics of Fathomless Gears, the general setting, the mechs, and what lies beneath the waves. Let's get to it. This is Crescent. Crescent is a fantasy world, akin to early 20th century Europe, coming just out of the throes of both a civil war and a war against the neighboring country, the Prav Empire. It was this war that led to a mass production of gears for use on the battlefields, and while in the end they secured the nation's freedom, it also brought the horrors of a modern, mechanized war into the public conscious. The Crescent of today is steadily becoming an industrial powerhouse, thanks to the invention of the galvanic engine and the subsequent development of oil-powered ships, motor carriages, electricity, and of course, gears. An important aspect of Crescent, both from a gameplay and in-universe perspective, are its many bodies of water, allowing for near-limitless fishing opportunities all across the nation. Every day, the fishers of Crescent, including the players, venture beneath the murky surface of the Cauldron, Limbus, or Different Sea to hunt for the dangerous creatures that make their home there. One of the core questions the setting had to answer for the players was, why do we fish? What is all this for? In this case, it's all about a substance called galvanic oil, inherent to all marine life that lives in this world. Galvanic oil is a sort of supersubstance that is used as a universal fuel source, capable of powering all kinds of machinery, from the smelting ovens of the foundries to the very gears that you pilot. Galvanic oil is used for everything in the setting. Galvanic oil itself is contained in a fish's oil gut, a pulsing organ somewhere inside the fish that pumps this viscous, purple-sheened, and tar-like substance throughout the organism. Care must be taken when attempting to harvest galvanic oil, and fish must be caught and processed alive, as the oil gut would otherwise rupture and spill its valuable contents. So, in essence, the lifeblood of the very fish you catch will end up powering your gear on its next trip, and fuel humanity's progress in general. Let's talk about the thing you're here for, though. The mechs, or, as they are called in this setting, gears. This is a gear. As you can see, they're not Gundam-sized, but rather Titanfall-sized, standing about 3 times as tall as a human. This makes them a lot easier to fit and transport via the fishing ships that are a huge part of the setting. Gears were invented 80 years ago by the mad genius Giacomo Venturio, and have since become commonplace all over the world. Gears are used for all sorts of things: mining, construction, woodcutting, warfare, and of course, fishing. Fishing gears primarily differ from their terrestrial counterparts on account of their airtight driver's cabin and pressure-resistant construction. In short, they are capable of operating underwater, which should be kind of obvious. Not all fishing gears are purpose-built though, and the game contains a number of gear chassis which are repurposed and retrofitted civilian and military gears. Something to keep in mind as we enter this section is that these gear chassis are merely a starting point for your own mech. Once we get into gear construction in a later video, you'll see just how much you can customize and personalize your machine. Currently, Fathomless Gears features 4 manufacturers. Those are Western United, Dirge Inc., Free Fishers, and the Vectron Foundries. The manufacturers offer a selection of 3 chassis each, and you are free to pick any you like during character creation. Western United provides the Lone Star, Pridemore, and Derringer gears. Let's take a look at the Lone Star. The Lone Star was one of the very first types of gear developed, and is still used all over the place. It is rugged, reliable, and it is much easier to repair compared to other gears, mostly because of an abundance of spare parts. The Lone Star is a universal all-rounder, and while it's not as flashy as some of the other gears, it's got a rustic charm. In this house, we like a good rust bucket. It should also be noted that world-famous fisher Klaus Tropen utilized the Lone Star all throughout his career. The Pridemore, meanwhile, may look funny at first glance, but once you realize that sensor range and target identification are paramount when fishing at the bottom of the ocean, you may come to embrace the mouse ears. Named after famous Crescentian Admiral Lorraine Pridemore, the Pridemore often finds itself in a support or spotter role. Though if built correctly, it can also function as a terrifying slayer. The final Western United gear is the Derringer. A military gear through and through, it is the latest Western United gear to leave the factory lines. Featuring sophisticated ammo feeds, it excels when equipped with assault weapons. Most Derringers are used to whittle down and weaken fish using overwhelming firepower, preparing them to be caught by a group's reeler. Dirge Inc. is the polar opposite of Western United, and where Western United is straightforward and functional, Dirge Inc. is a lot weirder. You'll know what I mean once I show you their gears. Dirge Inc. produces the Lamprey, the Angler, and the Anemone. Looking at the Lamprey, it immediately becomes apparent in which way Dirge Inc. differs from other manufacturers. Their gears are much sleeker and almost unnaturally refined. Where other gears are generalists that can be equipped with either close combat or ranged weapons, the Lamprey is a close combat monstrosity. Akin to a slasher villain, it stalks its prey before striking from the shadows. Another hunter hiding in the shadows is the Angler, and it complements its sister gear by being a dedicated and deadly marksman. While gears like the Derringer indiscriminately fill the ocean with lead, the Angler utilizes pinpoint accuracy to bring down even the greatest leviathans blighting the ocean. The final gear created by Dirge Inc. is the Anemone, and it is perhaps the strangest of the 3. The gear itself is partly grown from Leviathan tongue coral, an extremely fast-growing and aggressive type of coral that gives the gear regenerative properties. That means that the anemone can organically heal damage inflicted to it, making it a deceptively sturdy machine. Moving on to the free fishers, the gears become a lot more scrappy, and while no two free fisher gears look the same, they broadly fall into the Buccaneer, Jolly Roger, and Mariner classifications. The Buccaneer is, like all free fisher gears, both lumbering and sturdy. Equipped with oversized internal winches, it excels at reeling in fish and smaller vessels, leaving them no room to escape. Its optics suite is lackluster, and while it is capable of overpowering most things in close combat with sheer force, it'll have a hard time utilizing ranged weapons. The Jolly Roger is the largest gear, easily towering over all other contemporary gears. A Jolly Roger occurs when free fishers add so many weapons and parts to their machine that it grows out of proportion over time. Jolly Rogers are extremely heavy, sluggish, and able to mount an insane number of internals, turning them into walking fortresses, bulwarks against the worst denizens of the deep. Those that drive Jolly Rogers are built as different as their gears. You gotta be special to do it. Lastly, the Mariner is probably the most conventional free fisher gear. Based on a dock loading and labor gear called Tough John, the Mariner is an underwater capable version of that civilian machine. Outfitted with oversized arm servos, the Mariner resembles a boxer and excels at pummeling the opposition into submission. If you ever wanted to fistfight an eldritch abomination on the ocean floor, the Mariner is for you. The fourth and final manufacturer are the Vectron foundries of the city-state Evidia. Compared to other gears, Vectron gears are high-tech, utilizing the latest in galvanic engines, actuators, optics, and power distribution. Notoriously difficult to repair, they currently offer the following three chassis: Rhombus, Quadrilateral, and Parallel. The Rhombus is an incredibly agile and sophisticated gear, equipped with superior optics that allow it to excel both with close quarters and ranged weapons. Able to quickly reposition between attacks, the Rhombus makes for an excellent slayer or hook artist, and it is much sought after by enterprising fishers. The Quadrilateral, meanwhile, is the supreme support gear, able to rapidly engage its internals by overclocking them with excess power. Being supported by a Quadrilateral means operating at peak efficiency at all times. Between jumper cables, magnetic shields, and periscope targeting, the Quadrilateral has a lot to offer if built correctly. The Parallel is the cutting edge of gear construction, and pretty much a testbed prototype for the latest technology. Parallel drivers are often hand-chosen by the Vectron foundries, as parallels are rarely available for purchase. Equipped with an experimental galvanic dynamo, the gear is capable of tremendous output at a moment's notice. These are all the gears currently available in Fathomless Gears, and I hope that one or two have spoken to you. When playing the game, identifying with your gear is very important, as ideally, it'll stick with you for your entire career. Your gear should be your best friend, as it is the only thing keeping you safe at the bottom of the ocean. Speaking of the ocean, this is probably a good time to talk about the dark and murky depths, the mysterious abyss, the deep's domain, and the place where you will spend your time during fishing trips, fighting for both life and profit. As you have probably figured out by now, the ocean of Halcyon differs somewhat from ours here on Earth. Halcyon's oceans are dangerous, teeming with fish that actively seem to hate humanity and any that would invade their domain. Though I hesitate to call most of them intelligent, they nevertheless exhibit a cruel animal intelligence that makes them incredibly hostile. When I say fish, I mean all manner of marine creatures. Octopi, sea turtles, great serpents, crabs, jellyfish, and many more. Some of which defy classification altogether. All of them are bloated and monstrous, swollen to abnormal proportions by the pulsating oil gut at their core. Fish are varied, but most of the larger specimen are dangerous and deadly in some way or another. Galvanic oil gives them unnatural, almost supernatural abilities that they unleash to full effect. If you're lucky, a fish will just attempt to rip you to shreds using its jaws, tentacles, or horns. If you're unlucky, you might find yourself dodging a barrage of steel-hard bone shards, superheated breath attacks, or bolts of lightning that strike with eerie precision. Scientists struggle to explain these abilities, and though many fish with these mutations have been caught, their exact mechanism, besides their relation to galvanic oil in the fish's body, remain a mystery. There is worse, however. Halcyon's oceans don't exclusively pose a threat to one's gear or one's body. Unfortunately, this world's strange waters seem to also erode the mind, slowly but steadily, like sand on a beach. Fishers and superstitious folk call this malignant influence the deep, an unknowable, unquantifiable, and primordial force that suffuses everything that dwells beneath the waves. Its very nature makes the academic scoff at its existence, writing off the increased cases of mental breakdowns amongst fishers to the stresses of their harsh profession. Those that actually venture beneath the waves, instead of studying the seafloor from their academies, no different. Each time you venture down there, the deep claims a piece of you. Little at first, but as you make trip after trip, it claims more and more of you, leaving you no way to escape its iron grasp. Those most severely affected by the deep's influence are called Deeptouched. Cases of Deeptouch can vary from person to person. For some it is beneficial, at first, enhancing their natural abilities. Sharper sight, faster reflexes. It never ends well. As individuals become more and more deep-touched, their behavior becomes more erratic. They are more irritable, black out, losing hours at a time, receiving visions and hallucinations. In the worst cases, some individuals exhibit strange deformities, reminiscent of marine life. Webbed feet, fins, and gills have all been documented, though these extreme cases are kept from the public. It always ends the same. If a fisher is neither killed nor retired in time, they inevitably get claimed by the deep. The pull becomes too strong. The affected individual ventures out one final time to meet the ocean's siren call, leaving behind everything, never to be seen again. Going back to the fish, the worst fish, those hated by all fishers, are those that accelerate this process. Their mere presence is so unnatural, so wrong, that the mortal mind can't comprehend them, bleeding away any defenses against the deep's influence. These fish too are caught sometimes, and though they lose some of their otherworldly splendor while dangling from an iron hook ashore, they are still no pretty sight. The runic church takes care of these carcasses, usually burning them on large pyres outside of cities, while paying out big bounties to the fishers that freed the world of such an abomination. I hope you enjoyed this rough outline of the setting, its mechs, and its mortal dangers. If this video has intrigued you, Fathomless Gears is available right now on itch.io, and you can find a link in the description. In the next video, we'll be discussing character creation and mech construction, so definitely tune back in for that. Stay safe, fishers. May your harpoon strike true, and may no fish ever get off your hook.